The boardroom was silent, the kind of silence that carried tension thicker than smoke. The gleaming prototype engine sat on the conference table, dead, motionless, while a half-dozen engineers stared at their screens, pretending to be busy but knowing they were out of answers. At the head of the table stood Vanessa Crane, CEO of Crane Automotive, a company worth billions and known for pushing the limits of modern engineering. She was fierce, intelligent, and always in control. But right now, her polished composure was cracking. 2 years, she said, her tone sharp enough to cut glass. 2 years of research and you're telling me the engine won't even start? One engineer stammered, "We've tried recalibrating the hybrid control module, ma'am, but," she interrupted coldly, "but it's not working, is it?" Her voice echoed in the glass-walled room, and the team fell silent. This was the big day, the demonstration that would decide the future of the company. Investors from Japan and Germany were waiting. Millions of dollars depended on that engine coming to life. Just then, the door opened quietly. A man in gray overalls stepped inside, pushing a cart of tools. "Excuse me?" he said calmly, his deep voice carrying a quiet confidence. "I heard someone needed help with an engine." Every head turned, the contrast was striking. The man was covered in light oil stains, sleeves rolled up, a name patch that read Marcus Reed. He wasn't wearing a suit, not even a tie, just a simple uniform and a look of focus that didn't waver even under a dozen judging eyes. Vanessa looked him up and down, unimpressed. "This is a restricted meeting. Maintenance staff aren't supposed to be here." Marcus nodded. "Understood, ma'am. But I know that engine. I helped install the prototype sensors last month. Thought I might take a look before you give up on it." The room chuckled quietly. One of the younger engineers muttered, "Yeah, right. The janitor's gonna fix what we couldn't." Vanessa crossed her arms. "You think you can do what my team of PhDs couldn't?" Marcus met her gaze, calm but firm. "Doesn't hurt to try. Sometimes it just takes looking at the problem from a different angle." Her lips curved in a sarcastic smile. "Fine," she said. "Tell you what. If you can fix this engine before the investors walk in, I'll marry you myself." The room erupted in laughter. Even Vanessa smirked. It was meant as a joke, a way to humiliate him. But Marcus didn't laugh. He just said, "Deal." For the next 20 minutes, everyone watched as he moved around the engine with quiet focus. He didn't rush, didn't panic. His hands worked like he was listening to something no one else could hear, the language of machines. He unplugged a sensor, rewired a few connections, and adjusted a valve that no one had even noticed before. The engineers whispered among themselves, half mocking, half curious. Vanessa stood with her arms crossed, trying not to show interest. Yet something about his confidence made her uneasy. Finally, Marcus straightened up. "Try it now," he said simply. The lead engineer pressed the ignition switch. The engine coughed once, then roared to life, smooth and powerful, filling the room with a deep, steady hum. The same sound Vanessa had been waiting months to hear. Everyone froze. Vanessa's jaw dropped slightly. The impossible had just happened. How did you do that?" she asked, taking a step closer. Marcus smiled faintly. "There was a loose relay in your hybrid control circuit. Your diagnostics were reading false data. The system thought it was overheating, so it shut down before starting." The engineers looked at each other in embarrassment. They had missed something so small yet so crucial. Vanessa stared at the running engine, then at him. For the first time in years, she didn't know what to say. After the investors left, thrilled and impressed, Vanessa found Marcus downstairs in the service bay, cleaning his tools. "You made me look foolish up there," she said. He looked up calmly. "Didn't mean to, ma'am. Just wanted to help," she tilted her head. "Where did you learn to do that?" Marcus smiled slightly. "Used to study mechanical engineering. Had a scholarship to MIT. Dropped out when my mother got sick. Been working with my hands ever since." Something in her softened. The arrogance in her tone faded. "You could have been one of my lead engineers," he shrugged. "Titles don't fix engines. People do." Over the next few weeks, Vanessa found herself seeking him out more often, sometimes for help with technical issues, sometimes just to talk. He was intelligent, humble, and spoke with quiet conviction. He didn't flatter her like others did. He spoke honestly, something she rarely got in her world of polished lies, but not everyone approved. When word spread that the CEO was spending time with a mechanic, the gossip started. Board members whispered, Her assistant warned her that it looked bad. She ignored them at first, but the pressure grew. The investors questioned her judgment. At one meeting, a senior executive said bluntly, "You're risking your image over a man who changes oil." That night, Vanessa sat alone in her office staring out at the city lights. For the first time, she questioned what image really meant. Power, reputation, it all suddenly felt hollow. The next morning, she went down to the workshop. Marcus was there, as always, working on a small engine. "You were right," she said quietly. He looked up. "About what?" "About people," she said. "You don't fix things with status or money. You fix them with care, with time." He wiped his hands on a rag, studying her. "That sounds like something someone learned the hard way," she smiled faintly. "Maybe I did." There was a pause, a moment heavy with understanding. Then Vanessa took a deep breath and said softly, "That offer I made, about marrying you if you fixed the engine, what if I wasn't joking anymore?" Marcus froze, blinking in disbelief. "You're serious?" She nodded. "I don't know where this will go, but I do know I've never met someone who made me feel like I've finally met an equal." He smiled, that same calm, steady smile that had first caught her attention. "Engines are easy to fix," he said. "Hearts are harder. But I'm willing to try." 1 year later, a banner hung above the company's main hall. Crane Reed Engineering, innovation with heart. Vanessa and Marcus stood side by side as partners, both in business and in life. Together, they created a foundation to fund young engineers from underprivileged backgrounds, giving others the chance Marcus never had. When asked by reporters how a billionaire CEO ended up marrying her mechanic, Vanessa smiled and said, "Because he reminded me that true intelligence isn't about degrees or titles. It's about passion, persistence, and heart." Vanessa battled her pride, public judgment, and her own fear of vulnerability. Marcus faced discrimination, social bias, and the pain of lost opportunities. But together they overcame those walls, not by changing each other, but by learning from each other. Never underestimate someone based on what they wear or where they work. True brilliance has no dress code, and love has no class. Sometimes the person you look down on is the one destined to lift you higher than you ever dreamed. If this story touched your heart, give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe for more powerful emotional stories that remind us kindness, respect, and second chances can change lives.